Okay, let's kick off with the webinar. So thanks for joining. So we will talk about project management, which is called PSA in FinancialForce. So based on the FinancialForce Cloud ERP solution as being part of the Salesforce platform. All right, so the host of today will be me, Geert-Jan de Weeme, and Neville Jack will actually give a live short demonstration. Now let's quickly walk through to the agenda. We have a short introduction, a couple of slides. Then we will tap into what is the Cloud ERP based on Salesforce FinancialForce part. Then we will go a bit further into what is PSA, so Professional Services Automation, based on Salesforce FinancialForce platform. And then we will follow through with a short demo. And hopefully we then still have some time for questions and answers. So that's the agenda for today. Now, first to touch base a bit on, okay, who is FinancialForce? For the people who don't know yet. So FinancialForce is created in 2009, currently serving over 1,000 customers worldwide, headquartered in San Francisco and offices around the globe. Another main headquarter, let's say, is in that sense, is in the UK, with also a big part of their development center there. It's 100% natively built on the Salesforce platform from the start. And for that reason, and obviously it seamlessly integrates with all the other modules of Salesforce. Now, we talk about Cloud ERP, and indeed, it is really comprising the full stack from accounting to HR to professional service automation, inventory control down to revenue recognition. Salesforce, FinancialForce itself is a strategic partner for Salesforce because of the size of it. So there's a very strong collaboration between the two companies. Now, who's then the Cloudteam Company? We erected Cloudteam Company in 2014 with a dedicated and special focus on FinancialForce implementations, because we believe in end-to-end process optimization. So our aim is to help organizations go through their digital transformation, implementing all the possible modules that are needed for that on one platform. So we are completely specialized in this area. Now, next to the number of experts that we have on this platform, we also have our Apex Development Center in Belarus and a financial services center in Pakistan. So we are able to do implementations around the globe, which we are actively doing as we speak. So from the services point of view, so we help clients from a strategic point of view, getting the ambition straight for digital transformations. Some customers start with, let's say, the Cloud ERP part with one module at a time. Some of our customers take the full, let's say, end-to-end stack of modules to go through the whole journey in one go. For FinancialForce itself, we are their preferred partner in Europe. And next to the implementations, we develop, let's say, enhancements on the platform, which results in specific apps that we can, let's say, bring along as well in our implementations. Now, the Cloudteam experts that we have, you can see a couple of them here on the screen. We hope to grow and end this year with 20 consultants and further expand into 2019, becoming also a value-added reseller for FinancialForce. So with the team of experts, we've implemented quite some projects up to now around FinancialForce Management, so FFA, Professional Services Automation, PSA, the Human Resource Management part, the CRM part as well, so that's the specific Salesforce part, Supply Chain Management and Billing Central. Like I said, sometimes as one big project, sometimes module per module. As I mentioned earlier as well, we also develop apps as enhancements on the platform. So a specific app that we created for Europe is the SEPA bank integration, for example, but also the payable invoice scan app, which reduces your manual time needed to process all your incoming invoices. Right. So if we talk about FinancialForce and Cloud ERP, this is kind of an overview how all those modules work together. So indeed, it is truly out of one platform that you have all these functionalities available. So if we start from the left side, so Salesforce as the cloud platform, that's where it all begins with. Then on top, we have the CRM part of Salesforce. So a very important cornerstone in starting your full setup. Many customers, they already have CRM and then they simply expand throughout the other modules from FinancialForce. So if we go down the line, so from Salesforce CRM, we have an addition for quoting and ordering, supply chain management, inventory control, going down to professional services automation. Part of it is project management, down to billing, sending out your invoices, etc. Financial management, revenue recognition, and down to your human capital management. Now, like I said, all from one platform. So obviously, taking out your reports, doing your analytics, everything is possible. And moreover, as we talk about 360 views from, let's say, and on your customer, it is truly possible with this setup. Now, going down a bit to, let's say, the FinancialForce project management part, so the PSA module part. Just as an example, we're waiting for the latest of G2. So this one is from last year, but it clearly, let's say, identifies the power of project management from FinancialForce, because how they score, it's coming back from, let's say, user feedbacks. So one thing that is highlighted here, so users appreciate the robust resource management capability and this product's native Salesforce integration. We will show that a little bit later, how you really go with one click from your opportunity, so you close one, to your project, and all that is possible because of the native integration in the Salesforce platform. Now, there are a couple of key features using PSA as the project management solution. So one is, like I just mentioned, that you are able to go from your opportunity, so from your sales process, close one, that opportunity can then be converted with one click into a project. So the milestones identified in your project proposal is then automated transferred into your project with the same milestones. If you look at resource planning and allocation, you can already send out your resource request in your sales process. So making sure that your organization is ready to absorb your latest one, so to say, to be able to deliver. And the combination of fixed price and time and material in your project and doing your invoicing. Now, why could it be important? This example shows it quickly. So let's imagine that you sold a project comprising of, let's say, a couple of fixed price elements and time and material. In this case, doing a business process review workshop, that could be fixed price. Once that milestone is hit, you can invoice that automatically. The same for delivering hardware, software to your client. Again, that could be a fixed price element. But then doing the implementation of the software, you probably would like to do that on time and material basis with multiple tasks and also multiple roles of people. So that invoicing can then be done based on your time and material setup. The same for, let's say, configuration of your business process. Again, time and material and your acceptance testing with your clients. So the whole project will then be eventually invoiced based on these key milestones, fixed price, and or time and material. Now, if we go a bit down into the professional service automation part, again, you can see how it relates back to the full chain of Cloud ERP. So we will dive a bit into the storyline before we hit the demonstration part. So one is, let's say, within your sales part, so in your CRM part, you're working on your proposal, you're working on trying to get your opportunity closed. So here you are working with the CPQ part as well, making sure that you get your right quotes in your proposal out to your client. And you probably estimate that you are hitting an 80% probability to get your project in place. So you also kick out your resource request. Now, once your sales is closed, here you can see you can create directly a project out of your closed one. Now, then going back then to your project management setup. So here, obviously, you can have your full dashboard of all your projects running in one single view. So from a program management perspective, you will have insights in everything going on. Specifically per project, you have all the functionality available to have interactive Gantt charts with the dependencies, timelines, and so forth. Your project financials, so tracking, let's say, your revenues, your margins, your actual costs. Now, obviously, this is very important, this ability, but also in relationship to your invoicing out. So out of your project, you will do your invoicing. You will also see if some of those invoices are indeed paid. So you can see your actuals in your project from the same platform. So for everybody working on your project, it's very easy to do, let's say, their hour writing, the time writing. It can be based on the predefined schedules. They can then, let's say, convert those schedules back into their time writing with one click, or simply copy the time schedule from the previous week into the next week, adding notes to it and starting your approval flow on these time entries. The same for, let's say, expense management. You will also see that people will have, let's say, expenses associated with the project, so they could potentially be billed out. Also expenses that cannot be billed out, but all recording via the same mechanism through your project expense management part, which is then also available via an app on your mobile phone. So that whole combination of using multiple devices and getting from those devices your entry into the system, all is possible to make it as easy as possible. Well, like we said, so the project billing is also done from the same entity. So from your project, you can hit your project billing, creating your invoice with one click, and making sure this invoice is sent out via email to your customer. And obviously, and hopefully, your client will pay. And on your customer, you can have, let's say, all the insight that you would like to have, the 360 view as possible as well. So not only looking at the financial parts of your customer, but potentially also the number of tickets they might have raised or other opportunities that are sent out to this specific customer as well. So anything that you feel like is relevant in running your projects and beyond is then possible. So that was just a quick overview. If we talk about, let's say, project management, PSA, based on Salesforce FinancialForce. And yeah, I would like to give the floor now to Neville. He will actually then show how it can work in the system, high level. We want to avoid going too much into detail. So that's always possible in a more detailed demo afterwards. So Neville, I will stop presenting and you can share your screen. Thank you very much.
Sure. Thank you, Gert-Jan. Can everyone hear me okay? Can everyone hear me?
We can hear you.
Good, thank you. Okay, so yeah, as Gert-Jan said, basically we start.
Neville, we cannot hear you, so you might be on mute. Let me check.
Okay.
No, you're not on mute, but I cannot hear you, Neville.
Really?
Yeah, I can hear you, Neville.
All right. I thought you can hear me all okay? Because I think it seems some people can hear me and some can't. Maybe it might be on you, Gert-Jan.
I think there's something wrong with your audio, Neville.
All right. Can everyone see my screen okay?
Yes, I can, Neville.
Good, good. Okay, so I'll just proceed, Gert-Jan, and hopefully maybe the audio will be okay on your side.
It was on my part.
Yeah. Okay, so and we'll start from the opportunity side, which is predominantly where most sort of organizations who have Salesforce have. And as Gertjan said, you'll be doing your sort of sales pipeline ran through quoting. And at this very point, let's say you'd be at your sort of 80%, 75% probability of closing the opportunity. In this instance, would have maybe sold some hours for professional services and maybe a fixed amount for a workshop of some kind, a fixed price item within this opportunity, which is a services opportunity. And obviously, we're pretty confident at this point that we're going to close the deal. So as Gertjan said in his initial demo, you can just by clicking, so let's say we verbally agreed it with the customer and it's just a case of getting the formalities done. You can then, by clicking on the close one stage, that we create our project. Okay. Now, you could be at this very level as well, be resource requesting. So you have the ability to kind of resource request, which is for your capacity plan. So you can add as many resources that you want for your project. By just kind of simply adding, for the number of hours that you need a consultant for, you might need 2, you might need 1. So you specify their start and end date. You might want to start today, and the project will probably last maybe a few months. So take them through the kind of, and just add them to the project. You can specify by skill what kind of people you want to work on that project, and add. So we want 1 consultant, and we might want to add maybe a business analyst to kind of work on our project as well for a few hours. So we might give the business analyst a few hours. Again, we can just add the sort of basis that we need them for. And again, they might not work as long on the project. So we'll just say up to February. Okay, you can suggest resources. And as I said, you can pick people by skill. And this is all for our capacity planning, if you know what I mean, just within the project. And say, now that'll go and create our resource requests on our opportunity. And you'll see from here, we now have 2 resource requests that need to be fulfilled by the delivery team. Okay. At this point, we should have our project actually, which would then be for our sales team to kind of deliver. Okay. But what I'll do is jump into one that we already have set up, which I've just called Philips. Okay, so this is our Philips project, which is now a closed one project. It has the sort of resource requests, as I said. It has the project tasks, which again come fully automated. So these are kind of preset by the tool. So as it's called PSA, the automation of tasks generated within the tool. Again, the budget, which comes from the opportunity amount that you've kind of, this is your bookings value that then rolls onto the project. Okay, so we have all this information that is then pushed in from the opportunity to create our project sort of a scenario here. Now, obviously, there needs to be a project manager. So we'd assign a project manager that obviously is in charge of the project, and we are able to kind of set up our project and run with it. Okay. So once we have our project, obviously, those resource requests now need to be turned into assignments. So you assign the actual sort of resources that you've then fulfilled. So you might have 2 consultants in the end, 1 business analyst to then do that project. Okay. They will then be able, you will also be able to say, that 2,000 euros that we wanted to sort of full fixed price, you can set it up as an amount to kind of charge your customer for that workshop that you've agreed to do. Okay, so in this instance, let's say we've already set up we've agreed the days that we're going to do our workshop. Okay, and it was meant to be on the 17th, which was the Monday just gone. And you then say, okay, this workshop's now been done. Actually, it was done. We can say it was done today. Okay, so you put your actual date and just make sure it's been approved. Oh, sorry, status approved. Okay, approved, and that's it. Right. So once that's approved, we've got an amount that we can now fixed price bill our customer. Okay, and that is our fixed price. Now, the project is predominantly a time and materials project. So within our project, we'd still be able to kind of add time against our tasks that we've set up. These resources here will be able to do our sort of time entry within the tool. Okay, and to do that, obviously, they'd come to our nice UI that enables them. And as Hichan said in the demo as well, it's a simple task of just, let's say I've been assigned to work the 4 hours this week per day, and I'll just simply copy the hours from the selected schedule that I was assigned to, and I need to ask a yes, and just add the hours for this week that I'm meant to work. And obviously, if I was working on particular tasks, so I was doing the training, so I could just say, yeah, I was doing some training, maybe a bit of configuration. I can then add the tasks within the tool and obviously set up those hours and submit the hours accordingly. Okay, so maybe I did the 4 there and 4 there. Okay, and then the rest I can just clear out instead. Okay, and that's it, and then submit. And pretty much that's the consultants or the resources role within this part of the tool. Again, there's also a project planner, which is project manager's side of the view of the project manager, which enables them to kind of analyze the setup of each of their resources. So it would assess, so let's say it's the week of the 20th and you decide, actually it's Christmas week, there's not going to be time to kind of be doing any work that week, so you put 0 out that week, and basically say no one's going to work those hours, and it would then be updated and add the hours further on into the project, so it extends the deadline of that project. Okay, and that's kind of a simple kind of edit, and you can view this by day, by week, by month, by quarter, and keep updating the project's timeline based on the scheduled or project plan that you're working to. Okay, so it's a simple exercise like that. Okay, so that's the addition. And as I said, the project Gantt, you could assign people on these tasks specifically, but generally speaking, if they're set up, people can work on them and apply their time to the tasks as needed. Okay, other features within the project, so you'd be able to kind of embed your time reporting, your actual time versus actual reports, sort of percent completion and all this sort of, and you have an actual section there, so your bookings, delivered services, internal costs, so margin, all that information is then updated within the project as and when information is input within the project. Okay, so that's a very, very nice kind of feature of PSA. Moving on from that, so let's say we have all our information and it's towards the end of the month, and our finance people are saying, can we now bill our customer? So it's a simple click again to kind of then do a project billing, which then tells us that we have a time card and a milestone that we need to, so a workshop of 2,000 euros and a time card that we need to kind of bill. Okay, in this instance, I'd want to select my time card, and I want to select my milestone as well, and then generate a billing event. Now this will go away and then create something, well, as I said, just will create a billing event, which essentially is an invoice within PSA. Well, it's not quite an invoice, but in PSA terminology, it pretty much is. So once this is then generated, it will then be brought into something like this, which is the billing event. Okay, now this isn't already an existing one, but the rules still apply. So we'd be able to kind of release it, and then once that's released, this is the one I've just created, and you'll see there's a time card and a milestone as items there. And basically it'll tell you the values there. So we had a €2,000 fixed price milestone and a 22 hours of submitted time for Iris between those dates, which was at €125 price. Okay, so essentially that's how you'd get your billing event, and then you'd be able to then create, if you're fully integrated with an account, let's say FinancialForce accounting, you'd be able to then, so let's just release this one as well. Release is required for this stage purely because it needs to be pushed out of PSA. So it's pretty much telling the system we're no longer needing this, it's been approved, it's an approval essentially, and we're pushing this into the accounting system. Okay, and once that's done, we can then create our sales invoice by the click of that button, which fully integrates within the accounting piece. Okay, and that goes away and creates our what is called it processes the sales invoice for those items. Okay, and that's pretty much it for the PSA run through within PSA, within the tool. And obviously there's integrations with the accounting, perhaps billing central, if you have purchased those products from FinancialForce, that can generate other sort of financial aspects of needed for accounting, for example.
Okay. Well, thank you, Neville, for giving the short demonstration.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if there are any questions from the audience. We have some time for questions and answers. So please shout out if you have something. If there are no burning questions, then I would say thank you for joining this webinar. We will send around the recordings, so then in any case you can always stay in touch with us, also requiring maybe a more in-depth demonstration on site. So again, thanks for joining, and I would say have a nice working day, and hope to see you again soon. Bye-bye.
All right, thank you.